I'd like to call the regular council meeting for June 24th to order. First order of business is the call for pecuniary interest regarding the agenda. I don't believe there's anything. We don't have any in camera today, so I don't see anything in there. Next item, the agenda, any additions, deletions, adoptions, and we have one that I'd like to add in there, 9.3, the bylaw 2025-08. And Donna can explain that when we get there. Does anybody have any other additions or deletions?
I'll move to adopt the agenda as amended if no one has anything.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Adoption of previous minutes. May the 27th regular meeting, June the 10th, the council of the whole meeting. Are there any errors or omissions?
I briefed the minutes. They look to be in order.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. All right, we'll go right on to the first order of business there, the 8.1 new school real property ownership. See, Donna, you want to?
I can, thank you. Yes, this is just basically a background for council. Liz is on board here. On the screen, our planner, she is working on the joint land use public agreement, called the JUPA, but anyways, we're working, building that already because we have to have it. We have no choice. We have to have a land use agreement with schools. Liz, can you provide some background based on your experience building these? Would you mind?
Essentially, it's an agreement between the school board and the municipality. They're mandated. And so knowing that the school season is done here in a couple days, if it's not already for you guys, we're aiming to be able to have some information, a draft document put together to be able to work with the school board and review and get that lined up so that we meet the provincial legislation. So that it's pretty boilerplate, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's pretty standard. And I don't know if you want me to talk about it, but in terms of the rest of the province's update, the reality is it's a big impact on communities that are looking at new schools. So like the cities of Chestermere, Red Deer, Edmonton, really growing communities. It will change how school sites are allocated and who's responsible for the actual school site. However, for Thorsby at this point in time, I really don't believe there's a lot of impact. Should development start to occur, then there would be, but it would have to be enough development to justify a new school before that becomes a concern.
Yeah, Bill, it's Bill 50, isn't it, Liz, Bill 50?
I think so.
Yeah, Bill 50, yeah. Through the Municipal Affairs Statutes Amendment Act 2025, Bill 50, and the Education Amendment Act 2025, Bill 51. So it's a new ownership model for all new replacement K-12 schools. So what we did for council's purview is we just sent the guidelines and so on and so forth. The Live and I'll build the agreement, and we have to bring it back to you. Okay,
So do you want somebody to do that survey before Friday?
I would request council if they would like to take it on. Administration would be very pleased.
I haven't actually read the full bill yet, but I'd be happy to.
Okay. I would hope that you'd take it.
Light reading.
Would somebody like that a motion to appoint Corey to do the survey? Or?
Yes, please, your worship.
Corey changes his mind.
No, I think, I got a few things you just want to share.
Thank you, John. All in favor? That is carried. All right. Good deal. Okay, that's done. 8.2, here's the good one here. So the deliver sustainable municipal service with the native tools and a proactive commitment to corporate needs. And we're fortunate we have introduced CAO Scott McDougall with the County of Caston. And Donna, you want to take it over? I know they did theirs today, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was in attendance.
Okay.
And it was great. I'll introduce this to council tonight and to the gallery. So we're moving, County of Chatham-Montana and the town of Thorsby are moving forward with the work plan that would see both of us holding public hearings for council consideration of a formal resolution that would create a municipally controlled corporation. Now, municipalities can form a controlled corporation singularly in conjunction with another municipality. And as part of that formation, there are steps to complete the process for a successful corporation. County of Wetaskiwin and Thorsby have been diligently working towards this Municipal Control Corporation over the last year, and we are quite far along. We have, just checking my notes here, hang on 1 second, council, please. Here we go, go back this way. So one of the issues is we're very fortunate here that this Municipal Control Corporation has a source of revenue, and that is the water. And Town of Thorsby has a water license, and we have the market through the County of Wetaskiwin. So that is appropriate for this type of business case. A lot of business cases or MCC controlled corporations sometimes fail because they don't have their own individual source of revenue. We do, and we're happy to share that. Basically, this is for tonight to set the hearings for 29th of July, and so we can hear from the ratepayers going forward what they want. We're busy just about finalizing the business case. We're just updating the costs. And of course, this business case is not recommending asset transfer at this time. It's a 50-50 proposition between County of Wetaskiwin 10 and the Town of Thorsby. Our court structure is we bring a lot to the table, and in 3 years we'll have corporate cash projections because we'll be in business for a while. And of course, next year we're looking at 90% grants, so we can start building infrastructure and pipelining and building towards the lake. The MCC formalizes the business relationship between the two municipalities. So it's important that we say to the public we've been working together for a while to make this regional water supply and to assist the region. The key process is to establish a date for the public hearing, and council sets the public hearing date, to which we will propose in a minute through the resolution. Residents are provided time to provide their comments based on the information that C.O. Scott and I prepare for County of Wetaskiwin and us at the public hearing, and then council considers these comments, and so that's the comments plus the business case, and considers a resolution to establish an MCC. Administration of several areas under the Municipal Government Act and the Municipal Controlled Corporation Regulation to complete. Municipalities must be satisfied that there is a valid purpose. So we have the water intake, water license, we have customers, and we have regional water that is required and necessary. A lot of times will the Municipal Controlled Corporation provide a service? Yes, regional water, so that's our service. Will there be profits? There'll be dividends from the corporation, but not right away, because we've got a lot of work to do. Councillor then consider the business case, which addresses the names of the shareholders, which is County of Wetaskiwin 10 and the Town of Thorsby, the geographical area of the office, which we're proposing to be in Thorsby, and then they consider tonight the public hearing request, and then of course a corporate resolution, and the resolution being sent to the minister. So part of this is we know the government's and leadership. We have a lot of that unanimous shareholder agreement. We've agreed to that through the stakeholders. And again, the notification is only notifying the minister of the resolution of both municipalities. If the minister wants a business case, he or she is welcome to it, but we only have to notify them of our signed resolutions. The public hearing will endeavor to present council with public information that complies with all the required legislative and regulatory provisions under the Municipal Government Act and the municipally controlled regulations. It ensures that all regulated communications and technical information related to the MCC resolution is augmented by plain language and accessible communication materials ensuring transparency. We're having a workshop meeting on Thursday to finalize the business case so that we can put out prepared information on the 29th of June. That gives us our 30-day window. So what are we up to now? Our initial work is being completed based on high-level engineering cost estimates. And of course, as we know, the Town of Thorsby had a $196,000 grant from Water for Life that determined, can we pump to the lake? County of Wetaskiwin 10 just received a grant from Water for Life. What do we need to pump to the lake? That new grant is coming, which is exciting. So, of course, we'll make sure we utilize both municipalities' websites, newspapers, social media channels to ensure the residents of both municipalities so that they have knowledge of the public hearing process and have access to all the information relative to the council resolutions. We are right now working on finishing basically the complemented high-level engineering cost estimates, preliminary use projections, and other initial fee study assumptions. And business case does not need to be over-detailed at this stage or complex. Broad estimates for costs and expenses are acceptable, provided they're reasonable. And initially, the MCC, Municipal Control Corporation, is proposed on a basic structure with no assets infrastructure being transferred into the corporation. That's important. There'll be no infrastructure transfer at this point. It is also contemplated that as more information is generated, a more refined and detailed financial model will be developed as the municipal corporation's operational scope starts to take shape. So basically, the core structure, agreements in areas such as funding models, we're contemplating them to be completed in late 25, 26. And it's important to note that any substantial change that is not considered in the business cases for Section 75.3 of the MGA will trigger a material change and will trigger a public hearing, which is fine. We will contemplate as many services we're going to provide as we can in the business case, but we have to be prepared for certain things that will trigger public hearing, and that's okay. It also entitles residents to make representations to the county and town as per Section 75.3. What are you doing? What's happening? Why are you doing this? What's going on? So the municipal corporation formulates and synthesizes a working relationship between County 10 and the town, providing a vessel for future operations to be utilized. It is administration's recommendation, the council directs administration to schedule and advertise a public hearing on Tuesday, July 29, 2025, from 6 to 7 p.m. in council chambers, in accordance with Section 75.1 of the MGA and the Municipality Controlled Corporations Act, for the purpose of forming a municipally controlled corporation, MCC, surrounding regional water distribution in partnership with the town of Thorsby. It is also recommended the council through resolution consider the business case for this MCC within the 30 days. It is also recommended the council through resolution direct administration to make public prepared materials for the public hearing 30 days in advance of the hearing. And just a side note, we're going to work with legal with Sean a little bit, just in case the public hearing goes over the hour and needs a little more time, the proper way to delay the council meeting shortly after.
Oh, I think this is an amazing idea, and what brilliant group of people must have came up with such a solution to our water distribution issues. But I was just going to probably tweak Donna's recommended resolution order here, and first recommend that we consider the business case for the creation of a regional water distribution MCC between us and the county of Wetaskiwin.
Yep. We'll go with this, sir.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. And then, second part of that kind of covers just the first one.
That's the business case.
Moving that we consider it, and then now having considered it, or now that we are considering it, I would then move to direct administration to schedule and advertise a public hearing on Tuesday, July 29, 2025, from 6 to 7 in council chambers in accordance with Section 75.1 of the MGA. And the Municipally Controlled Corporations Act for the purpose of forming a municipally controlled corporation, MCC, surrounding regional water distribution in partnership with the town of Thorsby and County of Wetaskiwin.
Thank you. So everybody understands we're moving from the 22nd to the 29th.
Yeah.
And that an hour ahead of the council meeting
Make sure
will be a public hearing.
And purposes, we're killing two birds with one stone. We're gonna do our resolution afterwards, and then we don't have to have a town hall at a different date, and it's gonna be in our chamber here, so. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Corey?
Resolution 3, your worship.
Anyone else?
Go ahead.
I move to provide direction to administration to make public prepared materials for the make public prepared materials for the public hearing 30 days in advance of the hearing.
All in favor? Carried.
Madam Clerk, just for clarity, we've got resolution 1, business case, resolution 2, to the schedule of public hearing, and resolution 3, to make public prepared material. Awesome, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I say, brilliant, astute group that must have.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, and Scott, you care to make any comment on what you guys did today?
Yeah, I guess through yourself, Your Worship, just really excited from our county's perspective. I think it's a great opportunity to utilize some assets that Thorsby has right now that are being underutilized. We've got a great customer base, really excited to move forward. I think it's gonna take both parties to access grant funding and really move this project along. So quite excited, and thank you for the
Good. And you guys had, basically you did the same thing today in, Wetaskiwin, so we're all on the same page, so awesome.
It's been a little while coming.
Yeah.
Exciting. I'd like to clap, but it's not.
Thank you very much.
Ready, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, appreciate you coming out, and have a great evening. All right, bylaws and policy, land use bylaw updates, first reading bylaw 2025-05, request for decisions. Donna, you wanna?
Yes, Your Worship, we've had a lot of time to see all the highlighted areas. We've taken into consideration all council's recommendations from the workshop, and I'm going to turn it over to Liz, and we're just asking for first reading tonight. Second and third will look for them at the end of August meeting. So this will be passed. Liz, please continue, Liz.
Okay, thank you, Liz, go ahead.
Excellent. Thank you so much for having me tonight. We're not going to go through line by line like we did during the workshop. Instead, we're going to hit the highlights of the changes. I believe we captured everything that council gave us direction on in that meeting. And essentially what we're looking at doing is just doing a freshen up of the land use bylaw. So we are making it compliant with the Municipal Government Act. Really critical because that's mandated. And so we've changed references from the Municipal Government Board to the Land and Property Rights Tribunal, things like that, real housekeeping. We've also incorporated the recently approved land use bylaw amendments. So that means if it was approved over the last couple years, since about 2017 when the bylaw was approved, we've consolidated it in and just made it part of the bylaw. We've made some business-friendly changes, is my best way of explaining it, to break out home businesses into two categories, major and minor. We've changed the word from home occupation to home-based businesses or home businesses. That was a request that came up at the open house that we held. Essentially, the thought that nobody's occupying a space in terms of, if you think more like a war perspective, businesses was preferred. So we thought, you know what? Let's go for it. There's no rule we have to say one word or the other, but we appreciated the feedback. We've also gone through and added additional uses for business categories to try to help have more businesses in town if people want to come in and what they can do. And really just trying to provide a clear framework for businesses and new economic development opportunities while balancing the planning considerations. So new sections on specific uses such as drive-throughs, industrial uses, landscape lighting, and outdoor storage, just to name a few. We've worked hard to increase the user friendliness and ease of use of the document. I realize 100 and some page land use bylaw is not the easiest thing to use. I cannot give you an easy answer to that. That doesn't exist. It is a legislated document. There's only so many ways you can say certain things, but we're trying to make it easier by doing a table for future amendments so that they're always consolidated and put so people know when they are. Adding additional definitions. We've added a user guide to help people understand how to use it. But honestly, that's what I'm here for. People call me all the time and I try to walk them through it and help them understand what they need to do and work through the bylaw. We also want to increase housing opportunities. So we know that the cost of housing is a challenge across the country. So we want to have more options for a variety of housing types and living arrangements in our community. So allowing for accessory or secondary suites, allowing for a greater mix of housing types within the different districts, and while trying to also maintain the small town feel and charm that is Thorsby. We've also done what we're calling a catch-all in the report of assorted changes. So we've gone through and we've added some clarity around enforcement, clarity on development approval authorities, subdivision regulations, telecommunication towers, and other specific uses. We also cross-referenced against other land use bylaws of similar sized towns so that we're making sure we're kind of up with the current trends. And then we've also worked hard to make sure it's in alignment with the municipal development plan. The MDP, Municipal Development Plan for short, is an older document at this point in time. And it might be that we need to do a look at that document, but this one's the land use bylaw is your teeth on the ground, how you actually build something. So as our priority, we've made that work and looked at how to keep things aesthetically appealing and high quality. And so I believe that we are in compliance with the MDP with these amendments. We also did engagement, as I think council is aware, but for anyone that might be listening tonight, we held an open house where we had 4 people come and attend. The main feedback was that home occupation should be changed to home businesses, which I already mentioned, and we did make that change. We've also circulated the land use bylaw to government agencies for their review and comment. Prior to public hearing, we will include in the report any comments we get that are more than we have no comments, so that council is aware of any feedback we get. And then after council grants first reading, we will advertise the public hearing in accordance with the Municipal Government Act requirements. So at this time, I'm happy to answer questions, and ultimately we recommend passing first reading and then setting a public hearing for August 26th at 7 p.m.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any comments? A lot of pages
Quite the
there.
document.
Yeah, there's a lot of pages in there. There is.
Well, there's a lot of add line in there to go through and reference back and forth.
Yeah.
The first reading is just that, it's first reading, it's, you know, looks like what it should so far, so, I don't know. It's like we're doing all 3, so. Well, we can't with this one, no matter what.
All right, okay, if nobody has any questions at this time, can a motion to, for first reading of bylaw 2025-05?
I'll make the motion to grant the first reading of bylaw
John,
20.
all in favor?
25.
And then the second, motion, public hearing be scheduled for August 26th at 7 p.m. preceding the regular council meeting. John?
I can make that motion. To schedule the public hearing for August 26, 2025 at 7 p.m. proceeding
Thank
in the
you.
regular scheduled
All in
meeting.
favor? Carried. Okay. Anything else, Liz? I guess you're good.
I'm good, thank you.
You can take the rest of the night off.
This is my 4th first reading in 24 hours.
Oh.
3 land use bylaws and 1 MDP.
All right.
I'm gonna go to
Okay.
sleep.
Carol,
Yes.
how much time do we give to the public hearing?
I don't know, I think, I know like we were talking about the one for the MCC, we're gonna limit it to 45 minutes. So, I suspect that this one here, you know, we'll just play it by ear, but I would think that no more than half an hour, right?
Yeah, and your worship, usually, like with the MCC, no matter who comes, we have to let them all speak, right?
Yeah.
So if we have 50 people here, we have to have 50. That's why I wanna get a hold of, I'm just waiting for Sean to give me a consensus on how we move the regular ahead. As long as we don't start a council meeting ahead of time, we're fine. We can start it.
Yeah, we can start after, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be 9 o'clock at night, if it had to be.
It
It
can
doesn't
be,
matter.
yeah, so the MCC public hearing, we have to stay here, until everybody's had their chance to speak who is here. Could be 10 minutes or not. Land use bylaw public hearing, it just depends, doesn't it, Liz? I mean, we could have nobody here, or 3 people here, or 50.
I've had anywhere up to 350, 400 at one of them. But typically I have 2 to 4 on a good night. And I say that because my dream is that people are passionate and want to come talk about it. But yeah, most people don't care about a land use bylaw until they try to build something on their property and they're told they can't. So short of offering a steak dinner, I highly doubt you'll have a lot of controversy around this.
We've even tried to offer free food and people still don't come to open houses.
That's why I say steak dinner, because the food usually isn't, you gotta go like big with that. Ideally cooked by the mayor and council.
Liz, just a quick question, are you around tomorrow? I have to talk to you on a matter tomorrow.
I will make myself available for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I call you in the morning?
Absolutely, earlier the better.
Okay, see you at 4.
Don't joke, I'll be up.
How we roll is fine. Appreciate you, Liz. Thank you.
All right, have a lovely evening. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the, Rogers well? No? Okay, we'll move on to 9.2, the County Thorsby Regional Assessment Review Board Bylaw 2025-06.
Thank you, Your Worship. First of all, our legislative clerk Jesse took the training and established an 88% score for being clerk of Regional Assessment Review Board, so that's very good. And because of that, I've asked Jesse, with Your Worship's permission, if she would introduce this bylaw and introduce what we're accomplishing here. So, Your Worship, with your permission.
Yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
Thank you. So we are, pretty much just going through the process of updating our previous assessment review board bylaw in accordance with the new agreement that we, will be bringing back to council at the next regular meeting. We want to pass this bylaw second and third at the same time as we pass the agreement, so that one isn't in effect over the other. They're both in effect at the exact same time. We had previously brought we did not bring first draft of this agreement to you at the Committee of the Whole, but we did discuss this at the Committee of the Whole. This is first draft that council is seeing for the first time tonight. It's an update to all previous wording that Leduc County had. It's pretty much exactly the same, completely in line with Leduc County. Now there's only a couple of things. Donna had mentioned that she had wanted a definition of regional, so we added a definition of regional in there. And then the other thing is, I know that Councillor Corey had an inquiry regarding whether we could extend the term length of those assigned to the board to be 4 years to match council year. The answer that I received back from Leduc County was that because the assessment review board is only 3 years, you can only have, I have to certify again in 3 years, and so would whoever we assign, that they're keeping the term length in line with the assessment review board and the tribunal itself. So that's their answer. So they would like to stick to the 3 years.
I know that totally makes sense, but other than the 3 years for that was essentially a byproduct of it used to be 3-year terms for council, and they've since changed to 4-year terms of council, and I would assume they're gonna change this at some point in 4 years, are they not?
Maybe, but I know I have to recertify in 3 years.
Like I say, I keep expecting that surely they're going to extend it a year sooner than later, it's really lagging behind.
Now, I mean, from an internal perspective, just in our discussions with council at the next organizational meeting, when the mayor elected will assign who is doing what, there's no reason we can't internally say, well,
Yes.
you're elected for this, you don't.
Yeah, my issue is just like a cost savings, that you don't wanna have multiple people redundantly taking the same course. But like I said, I feel like they're gonna change this they have to change this at some point to 4 years. Like, it was 3 years because the term was 3 years.
Yeah, if the Land and Property Rights Tribunal does change it, all the better for it.
Sure.
Until then,
I get it, yeah. Then that's fair enough, that's a fair answer, but internally, we should not redundantly send multiple people on the same course.
No,
It was just, the cost
internally, we
savings.
should make it clear at the organization.
Yeah, that was my concern more than anything, so.
Yeah, so we can certainly make that internally clear, we just can't put it in.
That's fine, if our own policy is as such,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that, we'll make sure that's.
If Leduc County has extra money, that's fine with the sign.
Yeah. Well, now it's, to certify after September, it's now $300 every time. It was free for me because I managed to hop in on the last session of the year.
Well, if you have every other year, somebody just arbitrarily,
Yeah.
swapping it out,
Yeah.
$300 just cuts, right?
Yeah,
It seems like a waste of money,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Plus the honorarium for the day's worth of going and doing the thing and all the rest, so it adds up.
Yes, completely agree, yeah. Unfortunately, we will be paying $300 for me and $300 for whomever later.
Might take up their honorarium and everything else, so
Yeah.
$1,000 day before long.
So at this time, administration is recommending through motion of council that the Regional Assessment Review Board bylaw number, I put 2024 by accident, my apologies, 2025-06 be given first reading tonight.
Sure, I'll move first reading of bylaw 2025-06.
All in favor? Motion carried. Yeah, you got that, you saw that. Typo there, did you?
I don't know why I still said 2025 over that.
Okay.
Must have been looking at something.
Not a problem. Okay, 9.3, bylaw 2025-08. I was gonna add on here, see if Donna, you wanna take us through that one there?
One second, Your Worship.
This was an addition tonight, so,
Yeah, I got it here somewhere.
copies of the agenda. I might have only given a copy of it to all the councilors, my apologies. I didn't a copy, so yeah. Here, can I grab a copy? Oh. I'll take two, my word, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. She'll do it.
Well, she meant,
So this one here is just to satisfy the MGA, it's something that we have to, so we'll have to give it third reading today too, as well.
Basically, Your Worship, it's for, we have to have a separate bylaw, sorry, it's comfortable here. A separate bylaw for public hearings and electronic transmission. When we talked to legal, they said we could probably incorporate it into the big, council meeting bylaw, but he said it's faster right now to create a separate one. Sean gave us wording. He said, I give you three paragraphs, that's all you need. So basically, it just, thank you, Jesse, sorry, she was in.
No,
So we're just saying in this bylaw that a public hearing can be conducted by the following electronic means: telephone, Zoom, Teams, video conference, or other electronic meeting platforms. And if an attendee at the public hearing wishes to attend it electronically, notice must be provided to administration at least 1 week prior. And then if we receive a request to conduct a public hearing electronically, we have to issue a notice to the public via the town's website no later than 2 days before the commencement. So it's just another chart of to do, so that we don't mess up on the.
So it's not like we even have the option, we have to do it either way, so then to have a bylaw just stating that we're gonna do what we have to do either way.
Yeah.
Seems very redundant and unnecessary, but I get it. We have a few of those, yeah, we have a few of those on the books, I get it.
We, I will say we fought the law as long as we could, and the law won. I will say it that way. Go ahead, Jim.
And to help redundancy, this is a holdover. Once we go through the meeting procedures bylaw with the next council, we'll likely
Incorporate
marry it in.
Yeah, we'll marry it in.
Yeah, this is just far easier than.
Yeah. And this
Because I
makes it
feel like
easier.
it would almost already be covered the way it's worded, it's just, it's sort of ambiguous.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change anything we do.
I get, well, no, I get it, it's,
Yeah.
it is what it is, and we're
Yeah.
required
No.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it, it's
Yeah.
silly, but.
We tried to sneak it in, or just have it compiled, because we already have electronic means.
So that's what I'm saying, like, a
Council
council meeting is already included as electronic
Yeah.
means, and this is a version of a council meeting, but I guess it's unique,
Yeah.
specially named council meeting, so
That's
therefore it becomes a weird, like, ambiguity. I understand the point of this, it just seems
Yeah.
silly that we have to do it, but.
We're not disagreeing with you, Councilor Corey, at all, for sure. And it just forces Jesse and I in a lot of cases when we're writing this, or when we're putting up public hearing, we gotta go through this bylaw and tick off everything we have to do, create a chart, so that we're ahead of the game for this, or doing this for that. It's not impossible, but it just provides a little more, direction, I guess, or sort of direction. And, also for the mayor, deputy mayor, or the member presiding, you shall announce to those in attendance at an electronically conducted public hearing the names of all council members present. And council members may also attend public hearings via electronic means, so that's good for all of you, in accordance with the procedures set out in Part 17 of our meeting procedures bylaw 2023-10. So we had to marry that, come full circle into our meeting procedures bylaw. And of course, electronic access to a public hearing may be restricted or suspended in accordance with section 197. So what that means basically is if someone's being belligerent, or there's abuse going on, their electronic attendance can be restricted.
Or in closed meetings.
Or in closed meetings, that is correct, yeah.
So no filibusters.
Well, hopefully not, so, at the fire meeting today, I was out with the fire for 3 hours, they were certainly shutting us down, limiting us, but that's okay, so.
You didn't give us a bad name, did you?
Absolutely not, I would never do that. A slow tantrum is not good. So, Your Worship, we're recommending, I know it's, not in keeping with our practice, we understand that this is extraordinary simply because of our public hearing coming up at the end of July.
Okay.
Well, and it's literally just stating that we're following external legislation, so it's not actually saying really much otherwise, so.
No, 100%.
So you're okay?
This one, it's very much, yeah, I get it, it's very much just a housekeeping thing, so fine.
John's John's just ready to give that.
Bylaws 2025-08, public hearing on electronic means.
Thank you, all in favor? Motion for second reading?
I can motion for second reading of bylaw 2025-08, public hearings on electronic means.
Okay, a motion to give,
I will very begrudgingly move to give unanimous consent for third reading in the single meeting.
all in favor? Thank you. And then a motion for the third and final.
I'll make move for third and final reading.
John's baby.
Taking up the last time. All in favor?
Councilman,
All right.
tell us if he's bullying you.
Carried.
He really likes bureaucracy, apparently.
We know he's here.
All right, okay, 11.1, variance report, April Cindy.
Hi, thank you. So we're, 5 months in, I guess? And we're at, 65% of revenue. And clearly I did not update the comparative number from last year for that, because it says 13% tonight. So I'm pretty sure we were more than that at this time last year too. And then for expenses, we're at almost 36% as compared to 38, so we're doing a little better on the expense side this year. So we're still well in line, if not under budget, as far as like time of the year goes. But there's some payments coming out at the end of debenture payments in June. So,
Okay. All right.
and school.
They come out, yeah, they come out twice a year though, right?
Debentures?
Debenture payments?
Yes, no, March, June, September, December.
Oh, there's 4.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was a.
Every loan has 2 payments, so it's every 6 months,
Okay.
and we have.
Oh, okay, yes,
in
so
March
it's no, but
and
like, a
Yeah.
debenture has 2 payments in a year, yeah, okay.
And then, but we have them split between
Gotcha.
March, June, September, December. And then, yeah, school comes out this month
And,
too.
the water one, is that the last one?
No, 2026.
Oh, 2026.
One payment in 2026 for the treatment plant.
Thank goodness.
All right. Okay, any questions for the variance report? Motion accepted as information?
I'll make that motion.
All right, maybe we got our minutes. Sorry, guys.
I wanna make sure I wasn't go first. I glanced over there.
Shelley's gonna feel left out here, she's gonna put on the project,
She's gonna have to jump next.
All right, 11.2, the motion tracker for Q2. Jesse, or?
Yeah, for sure, Your Worship, yeah.
Yeah, so this is just our usual motion tracker, so this covers the last quarter, in which, there's only one outstanding motion number 250527, motion to direct administration to work with Leduc County to come up with a more suitable methodology than using Stop Canada's disseminationary, to develop the recreation proclamation for future divisions of said agreement. I think Corey wrote that specifically to stumble me. It's work in progress. I don't.
I have talked to Dean about it, and he like seems to feel that he thinks that their GIS accurately reflects, but I don't think he understands what I'm saying.
Right.
It's a
Donna
weird.
does though, so when we do talk to him,
Yeah, there's like, it is a real problem, he just isn't quite getting what I, like, the nuance of
Yeah.
it.
That's right.
but on that note, they did pass our stuff with Leduc County. I forgot to mention that in my variance report, but
Oh, and
So,
they approved our.
they approved our expenses and everything, so we'll be getting, our balance in 2024 and the advance for 2025. Total from them coming, it will be just over 300,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna give it to us now that interest rates are going down.
All right,
Oh, I was just gonna really quickly say, if anybody has any questions about those motions that we completed, I think there isn't anything here too surprising. think it was a lot of follow-up. So it's something that we did one meeting, follow up the very next meeting. Drafting the letter to the Duke County.
On the one, my name is a T at the end, but otherwise.
Gilbert? No, that was right.
Gilbert?
I'm but a servant.
I'm worried about it, I was just confused, forgot what someone else thought.
It's shorthand.
I've been called a lot of weird things, and that's a new one, so.
Now that's your name from now on.
Yeah. Administration's recommending to motion council that the motion tracker for quarter two be listed with information.
I'll make that motion.
Nobody over. Well, I was about to put my hand up, but I figured
Give me a chance.
yeah.
Thank you, Shelley.
Didn't want you to,
Feel left out.
yeah, exactly.
All right, 11.3, proclamations for Q3. See, Donna, I see there's only 4 in there.
For sure, your worship. So basically, Alberta Open Farm Days, August 16th and 17th, 2025. Firefighters National Memorial Day, September 1-4. Alberta Police and Peace Officers Memorial Day, September 2-8. And National Truth and Reconciliation Day, September 30th. We also welcome any addition or any other proclamations the council wishes to recognize for this quarter in case we missed something.
Corey?
I honestly didn't even, feel like I just glanced at it really quick, I didn't really read the email closely, but we got like an email this morning or yesterday or sometime recently about someone asking that we consider another day. I don't remember what that email is. I was looking right now.
Mental awareness or something.
Yeah, like I said, I just glanced at it really quick because I was busy, but I just know that somebody explicitly actually made like a request that we consider it, and they,
Did it go to, to Donna?
well, it was at least to the mayor.
Yes, it was request for proclamation, National Depression Screening Day, October 9th.
I don't know what that is, but I figured
All
it.
into that.
That would be the next quarter.
Yeah,
Okay.
October, November, December.
So if you want to forward that, I can remember that for the next quarter.
All right.
In other words, they screen through the DSM-5 is what they do. There's a series of checklists in the diagnostic and statistical manual for psychiatrists and registered psychologists. And it's about a 20-page questionnaire to determine the level of depression. Is there psychosis involved? Is there any kind of anxiety, any kind of, and then the scale determines whether you're up here or, you're fairly normal with a low grade, more low grade sadness, right? So, they go through this and that's how they score and screen. That's basically what it is. And then they move on to where they have to go, whether you're hospitalized, whether you're under care with medication. I will say this about that more and more information is coming out of the states with respect to depression to stop pilling people and start using food wellness, simply because it's always been assumed by the lay folks, and not incorrectly, but it's been assumed that your brain chemicals are made in the brain, and they're not, that control depression. They're made in your gut biome. So dopamine and serotonin, you probably heard of the expression serotonin uptake inhibitors, which are the pills. What they do is they create serotonin and transport it up to your brain, but a pill can't. That's why so many people have trouble with it. Some it works, for the majority it does not. So they're not really talking about natural wellness, because if your gut biome is healthy, you will produce all the natural serotonin you need, and it will uptake naturally, right? It's just natural to go there. But they're not talking about that much. So anyways, a lot of research coming out of the States too for that positivity with that, and it's actually really nice research, because we are so wanting pills that we don't understand that we can make a difference in ourselves naturally. So anyways, we'll put that on the next quarter.
My question is, where do these proclamations get announced? I never see them anywhere.
He says them.
Google?
Norman signs a fancy little thing, typically, I guess, or normally we used to. I don't know if you do still, but.
Yeah, we don't
Not on
have
the
to.
website or?
We used to put them in paper, right? But we don't have to.
No, but is it posted on the bulletin board out there, or?
No, they're just in the council package. If council wishes, to resolution.
If you, I guess what we could do is, we could put them on the website, like on the day of it, we could say proclamation for the day.
I mean, I'd leave it to administration to do whatever. I mean, a lot of these are championed by, you know, different lobbyists or whatever other organizations who will have information and such available to just kind of do them the courtesy of maybe just forwarding or linking to some of their stuff and just trying to promote whatever the thing of the week or whatever is might be nice, but I mean, I'd leave that to however administration sees appropriate. Depends on what the day is and what the thing is, I guess.
It just seems like an empty proclamation, because we're not.
That has often been my objection, yes.
In a lot of cases it is. I won't say problem because we're on council, but the concern, I'll say it that way, I have, is that there's so many proclamations for basically the same thing, only a different type of language. And, I mean, with mental health, there's one in February, there's one this quarter, there's a bunch of different things, right? And nobody really knows, what it is. So, I mean, I have no problem with putting, these on the website in mass. And that way they're just sitting there for folks for this quarter. We can definitely do that.
Yeah. I think, you know, like to say, especially nowadays, you have to be careful, because some of these, you put it in the paper and Thorsby proclaims it, and then how many groups are against it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you're leaving yourself open to, you know,
I
we've
think
had it
we'll
here,
abolish the whole act
in, you
because
know,
it's an act.
in the chambers, we've had, remember, you know, last year we had a little bit of go around there, right?
Yeah, June.
So,
You know, I'd like to.
In all fairness, that was silly and inappropriate and should have been just cut off. That was, he shouldn't have been allowed to keep speaking as far as I was.
true enough, but, you know.
Might be an interesting idea, just to throw out there for, you know, next council, because we're on a certain path now, but for next council to decide what proclamations they want that they can do something with. I don't mean set up tables and displays and all that, but maybe throw some links to, information or whatever, you know. There's so many of them right now.
There is so many, every day. I mean, you look in your calendar, you can find one every day.
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
And if I look at this one, firefighters National Memorial Day, important. Police and peace officer, important.
I'm sure if I look.
Truth and Reconciliation Day, well, all of these are, because it's farming too. So we may have to present council, with a really big list, the next council, really big list, pick and choose, and then if we throw it on our website, we get a little bit of substance to it, right? Some links, some this, some that.
Honestly, having the external links and through our social media as well will increase the algorithm, you know, in our favor when people are looking on the Googles for things.
Yeah, and we can transfer that to the FCSS, the social media as well.
Yeah, I mean, just, us using the external links, it's advantageous for them, it promotes the thing, whatever proclamations for that particular proclamation, but it actually is self-serving at a certain point of having an excuse to put in external links.
That's right.
Yeah, like I'm just looking at my calendar here, you know, we've got, John the Baptist Day, June 24th, you know.
Well, you didn't make a proclamation about that one, though?
You know.
I brought a cake.
I'll get it back
That's
to
today, right? Yeah.
Discovery Day, August the 18th, I don't even know what that is, you know. Peace Day, September 21st. A National Day, well, we got that one. And I mean, it goes on and on. I got a whole page here, you know, and then some of these I can't even pronounce them because they're Arabic, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, those are a little different, those aren't like special interests, trying to promote a concern. Those are actual, holidays that are of a religious nature, those are a little different in tone. We should probably not be dismissive of those for various reasons.
But, you know, the next thing you know, they turn it into proclamation, so.
They shouldn't need to because it's a religious holiday at that point.
Okay, motion to accept the, proclamations as for the month of Q.
I would love to.
All in favor?
Make that motion.
Carried. Alrighty, moving into correspondence, Calmer Days and Parade invitation. All right. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, I'm just gonna point out, I did get my, the electric-powered, new, water gun in
Oh, did
the
you?
last parade, so if anyone needs to do the parade, I guess I could break that up.
Do they allow that in Calmar? Because we
Ah,
does
sure.
not allow super soakers in their parade.
Ah, Sean.
So their parade is on, Friday, August
Saturday, August 16th.
Saturday, pardon me, correct.
Is it at noon as well?
No, it's early.
Administration does not have a problem loading up the fire truck, or we can just pull a trailer and you can sit on the trailer, whatever you'd like to do. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say, I'd like to point out that they promised in council that they would come to our parade, and they did not come to our parade. So if we go, then it's excellent blackmail for next year.
Oh, Christie
The
said.
Warburg came to ours, and we didn't go to theirs.
That's our bad, yeah.
We have trailer issues, let's go with that.
Yeah, that's,
And I'll mention that Warburg, parade was this past Saturday.
Yes, yes.
And they were very disappointed that we weren't part of
I
that.
actually didn't know.
And I said, well, we didn't get an invitation, I
I
don't think.
honestly-
And they said, you don't need an invitation, you know when it is, you're welcome to come.
No, because I would have assumed it's like still a week away.
I know, they did it
no, like,
a week early, that's
I
what
do
said.
know when it is, and it's a week from now.
Because don't they normally do July 1st?
Well, they always do it for Canada Day, but they do it on the
It's
weekend.
next Saturday.
Yeah, they do it on the weekend, it's right at
Right,
ten, but so I'm, well, no, what do you mean they already did? Like, I literally assumed it was coming up.
I know,
So they can't be mad about that one, because I literally didn't think it was happening until next week.
yeah,
You just show
because I
up
was
this
there
weekend.
and a few people asked me if
It's
we were
a float
putting a
Saturday
podium
down
in.
Main Street of Warburg.
Saturday, we'll drive around Warburg.
Of course,
We'll have a super soaker.
of course, Renton is having their parade on July 1st.
Like actually on the 1st?
Oh,
Yes, always
On the-
July 1st, yeah.
On the 1st, yep.
I guess I should just mention really quick, we're not gonna have another meeting before then. All the posters and stuff aren't out yet, but the Thorsby Lions are hosting again their July 1st block party. The first, block of 54th this time, not going all the way down. But they will have the usual, they were telling me, some DIY, toys and fun stuff, a bouncy house for the younger kids, probably music again, help from the church, free food, I think hot dogs, probably like last year, and I don't know, pops or juices or anything like that, but that is happening again,
On the 1st.
on the first.
There was a fella who had a snake last year, and I don't approve of that.
That was a cool snake.
Snakes terrify me.
Yeah, they terrify me.
I'm not scared of much, but snakes definitely is on the list.
That was a cool.
He takes the snake to the bar.
Well, that's a little inappropriate, Tracy.
I know. I don't like it either.
Well, I don't know, I think we should definitely do Kalmar, and I didn't honestly remember about Breton, but yeah, I guess it is coming up, and I don't know if we wanna do that too, or
I'm unavailable on Tuesday.
maybe on a weekday, yeah.
Yeah, it's a week from today.
Mhm.
And I gotta try to get to Duke for Corp Lund that night, so, you know.
Isn't there, and then, of course, the Duke is having a parade as well on, July 1st.
Canada Day, yeah, do they normally?
On Canada Day?
Yeah, I used to volunteer for it, they have it.
Oh, yeah, I think, but they don't do that anymore to me. I didn't see a parade when I looked at their stuff going
Somebody
on.
asked and I saw the answer was no.
Oh, it's
Yeah, like,
very
see,
well.
I was all excited, cause I say Corp Lund, so I was actually reading the thing, I don't recall reading about the parade, but.
That's what I heard. Everyone
It was
says it up.
a band, he's a musician.
Yeah,
Like a folk singer.
He used to be a punk rock musician, now he does like country
I thought he
music.
was country, yeah.
What?
It just says pancake breakfast, car show, family activities, outdoor concert, Corp Lund, and fireworks show. It doesn't say anything about a parade at all.
They're
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't
cutting
see
down
it.
on their parades in Leduc.
There's nothing to do, that's why.
That's a lot of work.
Their rules,
Well,
no, their rules, they did have, a lot of us volunteered for it, and then the rules got silly.
Well,
They do
their
the
routes
best.
were all it's very traffic congesting.
100%.
They don't really have any good route to do a
No.
parade that doesn't impact traffic a lot.
That's right, and Lyndon and I used to look after the big intersection at the banks, like we.
Yeah, like at 50 and 50 there, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got fire trucks coming at you, ambulances, and they don't tell you which way they're going.
Yeah,
So you're moving people, moving barricades, and we just, after 4 years, we just went, it's okay, we've done what we can do.
no, I get it, but they don't really have a good route to go
They don't.
otherwise, like, I don't know
Downtown
where they
Leduc
do
is
it.
awful. 'cause
And they're
it's
doing
just-
a car show on Main Street from 11 till 2.
Yeah, so.
could certainly pack it up for Calmar. We
Yeah.
haven't had our, fire truck in Calmar, I know that, it's been everyplace else.
We can do it.
Somebody wants to make a motion,
Yeah, I'd move to, that council participate in Calvary Days Parade.
all in favor? Carried.
I don't know who all wants to go, but I'm not sure I can
Yeah.
figure something out to be available.
Well,
My busy work schedule now.
Yeah, I have to look at my schedule.
I will be here.
I'll be driving the rig, so when I leave, if you're on, we're good.
That's
Oh, August. Oh, I will be here.
August.
That's,
We have a lot of fun, you should come.
Well, 'cause Cheryl's going on holiday.
Parade is on which day?
Yeah, it's the day before my 85th birthday.
August 5th, your 85th.
All right.
Oh, I won't, I'll get here on the 17th, because I have to be here.
Oh, well, you're buying cake then.
12.2, level of service engagement clarification.
Oh, is this,
Oh, this is the fire one.
oh, this is today's meeting, okay.
Mm-hmm. I would love to update council, your worship.
You just wanna leave this for your information?
Well, she'll update you, because she had a meeting today.
Yeah, I know she did.
Fantastic.
I heard about it. You want it, would you like to talk about it?
If that is your pleasure, your worship, I would love to talk about it.
Pleasure, everybody here, I guess.
All right, so this morning, we had a 2.5-hour, as the province put it, engagement session, and there was about 162 folks on the line, fire chiefs, CAOs, and it was quite a deliberative and raucous engagement. They gave us so long in the main room, and then they gave us so long in group, in little rooms, and we had to answer the 5 questions that you will see on page 2 of this, or page 371. So I want to give you a bit of a synopsis, because it got heated, not in a bad way, but it got passionate, to be quite frank with you. And some of us ended up getting, there's about 15 of us that kept getting, you've talked too much, you're going to be cut off in 2 minutes. Sure. There was a fire chief from, used to be from Grand Prairie, I'm not sure where Everett is now. There's myself, Everett, there was the CEO of Grand Prairie County, there was the CEO of Lesser Slave Lake, there was the CEO of Fox Creek, and a couple of fire chiefs. Our county fire was on there, they didn't say anything, that's fine. So the first question talked about, well, first of all, the first thing they said was that the MGA does not mandate service levels. This is what this is all about, is service levels. But they kept using the word mandate, we kept catching them on it. And levels of service, we tried to explain to them, it depends on the municipality, mutual aid agreements and current, any kind of current levies or any kind of current, anything that's going on. And as they talked, I put up my hand to speak, and I said, but you're asking for service levels, but you're lumping everybody into the same thing. Edmonton Fire was there, Calgary Fire. Service levels are not even close to being the same. They're not even being the same between Ponoka and us, like Lincoln County, because we have a rural-urban interface. They hadn't considered that. I said, I see no reference here with respect to insurance issues. If you're asking for service levels, obviously you think we don't have them, and then there's insurance levels if your service levels are mandated. So the moderator said, well, what do you mean? I said, okay. So let's just say we have to have a service level. We only have paid-on-call firefighters. And I said, there's nothing wrong with that, but we do, and most municipalities do. So I said, we hit a service level in the Thorsby Fire District, let's say, where we've got a dairy barn on fire, and we've got a house on fire in Thorsby, and it can't happen in MVA or MVC on the highway. So
more than on rare occasion, you'll have multiple things.
You bet. So I said, what's your service level? Because I said, if we only have so much money to put out the dairy barn through our county counterparts, your house burns down and your kitty dies and we can't get out to the highway. So we have to rely on our mutual aid agreements. So all of a sudden I got a lot of hands up like this, and I said, if you're going to expect us to do service levels, you're going to have to give us money. It's just that simple, because you're not paying enough for a tender, an engine, any of that, and you're asking us to meet a level of service that we may not be able to meet.
Yeah, no, we're liable when the kid dies in the motor vehicle accident because we were mandated to provide a
Exactly.
response within a certain prescribed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they didn't quite get that.
No,
They said,
okay.
well, you know, there's a liability issue, but, you know, if you can't respond, you can't respond. But I said, you're forcing us to respond. And I said, you're taking away the power from the council. And later on, I did say, service levels produce budget. So I said, most of us here have service levels. So another, my counterpart from Grand Prairie County, Julia, she said, where's this coming from? What's with this all of a sudden? And they danced around it, wouldn't tell us. So she finished. Then Fire Chief Everett put up his hand. He said, yeah, I want to know too, where's the service levels? So went around the bush a little bit, and then I put up my hand and I said, so what is with this issue here? I said, is this stemming from the wildfires that happened last summer where municipalities didn't want to cooperate and wanted to run the municipalities the way they felt needed to? I said, they said, well, we had some concerns. We did a fire service review from the fire commissioner's office, and this is what everybody told us. I said, how come the fire commissioner didn't talk to the municipalities in this review? Well, we just talked to fire. Okay. So we said, I'll say we a lot. I talked a lot, but we'll just say we. So I said, well, what do we want? What is this issue? And they said, well, you kind of want to have the same kind of tools, the same kind of training. And I said, okay, so why would I want to have the same tools as my counterpart in Coaldale, CAO, who's got some impressive wildfire budget systems are state of the art? Because you can run all over like Coaldale and put it out. You can't up in the North Country. So everybody has to have the same wildfire budgets?
It's obviously just simply because they changed the state of emergency legislation. So if we declare state of emergency and they can arbitrarily just come in and assume control of the whole municipality,
Yep.
they want to know what they already have to work with.
Yeah.
If there's a emergency, the fire services are the most common first responders available.
Yep.
They want to know that they have certain assets in place regardless of whether it made sense to the municipality or not. It's easier for them to figure out what they're doing that way.
Yeah. And that's what
Which
everybody...
is purely as an offshoot of them changing that and inserting themselves into local emergencies.
And everybody picked up on that for the most part, there's no question about it. Edmonton and Calgary didn't say too much because they just have to go like this and they've got everything at their disposal, and so should they.
Well, and they have the charter, so I don't think it applies to them. The province still doesn't intercede
That's
if there's
right.
a state of local emergency in the charter cities, but for the rest of us poor, plebeians.
Yep, they do. So then, they invited the Métis settlement, so there was a Métis settlement there. So the second question was, how prepared is your municipality Métis settlement to conduct a community risk assessment and establish a level of service? The Métis settlement, put up its hand and said, why am I here? I don't respond to the MGA. None of us do. So why am I here? You're gonna mandate me to do what? And of course, the moderator couldn't answer the question. So somebody else put up their hand and said, well, it might have been nice to have the Métis settlements here just to showcase what they do and how they handle things. And they're mostly up north, right? So you're fighting in Bush and Muskeg and everything else up there, so up there. And he said, well, you know what? You didn't ask me to participate. You didn't tell me why. You just told me to come. And no, we're not prepared. He said, because we don't have the apparatus and the money and all that stuff up here either. And he clicked off just like that. See ya. So then they wanted to talk about conduct a community risk assessment. Okay, so a community risk assessment is a way different beast than a hazard assessment. That means you've got to engage your community and so on and so forth. But a lot of your hazard assessment can be through your AMA. Well, nope, you have to do community assessment. So then, I'm just going to jump to question 5. How would council and or the chief administrative officer actively engage and solicit community input in the development and implementation of a level of service? And we all looked at each other. Nobody responded hardly. It's like, we do this all the time, and nobody was saying anything, so yours truly sticks their hand up and says, we have all sorts of engagement techniques, we do it all the time. I said, I would invite the provincial government to come see us with a public hearing and with engagement, so you know what we do. Oh, we've been to lots of engagements. Sure.
Okay, but the guy can't go pump gas or buy groceries without talking to somebody for, 30 minutes about something. That's how this works.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, they got a lot of thumbs down for that one. So question 3 was they asked, the level of service could support council's decisions regarding planning, budgeting, and resourcing of their fire service based on the community risk assessment. There's a lot of CAOs that put up their hands and said, wait a minute, we do service levels, what are you telling us here? Like, what are you telling us? And then, what barriers would your municipality Métis settlement face as you implement the outcomes of the determined level of service? Well, I put up my hand then and said, we have service levels for snow removal, street sweeping, all that sort of stuff. And I said, we communicated, they're coming, this is what's happening, we have budget meetings, we have all that sort of stuff. And the moderators at the province didn't know what to do, to be quite honest with you. They kept repeating, well, this is not mandated, not mandated, not mandated. What do we want to do for you? And we said, you're darn right it's not going to be until you give us some money. We're not doing this without money. And quite a few of us said, look, this is something that's going to be on the side of our desk. What makes you think our fire services don't have levels of service? I said, and then I spoke up and I said, if you want levels of service, then we're going to have to stick to the IEPA requirements and the 1101 standard, NFPA standards, where these vehicles in this firehouse should not, sorry, I put my pen down, thinking, these vehicles in this firehouse shouldn't go unless they've got 4 members on board. Sometimes you can't get that in the country. You cannot meet that standard because you're POC, paid on call fire service. Well, and I said, that costs money. You want 4 firefighters in there for the NFPA regulations for safety, et cetera, that's gonna cost us more money. And you're not paying us enough to go on the highway and wanting 4 staffed in an engine, 2 staffed in a tender, and 6 staffed in a ladder.
Yeah, because if they want you to follow their prescribed, recommended guidelines, which they would just, if not enough people do it, they will just make it required, that they know that when they step in and assume control, that they have the resources they need without spending their own money.
That's right, that's what's going on, and they got an earful today, there's no question about it, and
It sounds like a lot of their, public engagements were, they should really have somebody talk to them about how they do engagements, because their engagements are a lot of lecturing.
it was, they made up their minds.
Who facilitated this from the fire?
Alberta government from the fire commissioner's office.
You know a guy, or?
That was all a bunch of, bureaucrats. There's nobody's any strikes. And, so they wanted, then they said level of service changes and guidance from the province. And so we said, what's your definition of guidance?
Do it their way.
Do it their
They're
way.
gonna give you a list of, here's the expectation that we're suggesting you meet, and if not everyone does, they'll just mandate it.
That's exactly right. So we said, okay, for number 4, recognizing that the level of service could lead to decisions to upgrade existing training. Yeah, we need to update existing training. How do you pay for that? I did say with the province's school requisitions, seniors requisitions, all this kind of stuff coming out of our municipalities, who has money for anything, in all honesty? And had a lot of comments about that as well. They also said, establish a mutual aid agreement with neighboring communities. One of the other CAOs from Lesser Slave Lake said, we have that. Like, we do that naturally. What are you talking about?
We're required to have that.
Yeah.
So that would be like option, that's already a requirement.
Yeah. So then they said, or change in service. They gave this example, moving to defensive or exterior attack only instead of interior. So in other words, surround and drown. So I said, okay, everybody has insurance in their homes and their businesses here. And if we change our service level because we've got nobody here and we adopt a surround and drown service level, who's paying for the insurance and the liability when we all get sued?
Well, you're gonna have insurance companies saying that the service level changed by the municipality in between from when we renewed your policy.
Yep.
So nobody informed us that the service level changed, therefore you had no insurance.
That's right, or it's tripled.
Well, they're gonna say, nobody told us, and your house already burnt down, so gee shucks, you should have told us.
Yeah. And then they said, what supports or guidance would your municipality and Métis settlement need to develop and implement a level of service? If CAOs don't know how to do level of service and help guide the council, maybe they better quit. And I mean, they're all very experienced CAOs in this meeting today, I know most of them, and they're very smart people. They know what levels of service are. So, bottom line is, just looking to see if I have any final comments on here. They wanted to provide a guide for us so we could do service levels, and a lot of us said, whatever. but we were going at them hard for money.
I say, it's them warning you that they're preparing a guide for you to do it on your own, and if you don't, they will make you do it.
That's exactly right. It's kind of like, they said, oh, we want to put these in the map, administrative review, because we just got that now. All that stuff we had to send last November and December to the province about all our administrative functions. We just got that back, because it's mandated by the minister, so Jesse and I have to go through it and put an action plan together and all this kind of stuff if we have any deficiencies. And I think some deficiencies that they think are, we're gonna challenge. I just haven't had a chance to read it through, but I will, bring that to you at next council meeting, because then we'll have something, because I think you need, I don't know if you saw the last one in 2018, but they wanted to put fire service levels in the map, responsibility through the minister for policies and all that sort of stuff. And, people were signing off, you know, they were very polite and stuff at the end, as were we. I mean, there's no embarrassment here, we just, you know, thank you very much, but I had quite a few calls afterwards and some emails going and some texts. And basically, without saying the word, it was, what the bleep is this, what is this all about?
This is bad for fire departments, it's bad for administrations, it's bad for councils, and it's bad for residents.
You got it.
The only person it's good for is the fire commissioner?
Yeah, and the bureaucrats there that have to have something to do.
Yeah.
100%.
It means that, like I say, it gives them a kind of stable template that they know what they're dealing with when they exercise their newfound authority.
Exactly.
But beyond that, it does nothing good for anyone.
No. And so, I don't know what's gonna come in next. I don't think they were expecting fearful today, I really don't
No,
think.
I'm sure they weren't, they just
No.
didn't, typically these things go through and they rubber stamp it and they clap their hands and, get paid for another day.
Well, that's
This
right.
time they get caught a little bit.
They did, and we challenged them on, we said, you've already made up your mind. Oh, no, it's not mandated. Then why are we doing the engagement? If it's
Every
not
single engagement I went to for the last 3 years, we're just thinking of doing this, and every single time they disregard everything that's suggested and do it either way.
Exactly, within what, maybe 2 months, there's a bill.
Yeah, exactly, they haven't once changed a single thing
Nope.
from what's said at the public engagement, so I don't know why they're gonna start now.
I know, and I said, a lot of these small towns, and I was echoed by this, you're asking for a surrounded drown service level. That's not fair to anyone. Then if you're doing a surrounded drown, why train? Just a bunch of us will go out there and hold the hose. Well, you didn't like that too much. I got a little cheeky there. So anyways, a lot of my.
Like people's insurance will definitely, like, wildly reflect very quickly.
Yep, 100%. And it actually, some of the CAOs, fire chiefs not so much in all honesty. I mean, they do service level. A lot of the CAOs were insulted that, you know, do you need help doing a service level?
Well, it's because they want to help you make sure you get the right answer, as in the answer they want you to get.
That's right, 100%. So that was 2.5 hours out of my life I can't get back.
I'd be super frustrated. I'm
I was.
frustrated just hearing your version of it.
Totally
If I
frustrated.
spent 3 hours on that, I'd be like swearing that.
Yeah, it was my counterpart from Grand Prairie County, Julia. She texted me, she said, well, what is going on here? And I said, I have no idea. This is a waste of time.
No, because you know what the writing on the wall is. You know what the world's gonna look like in a year.
Absolutely.
You just have to control effort.
They do, because I think, I'll say this out loud, and I've hit AEMA with this, and I've hit, Leduc County with this, not that it's Leduc County's fault, I just let them know that, you can have so much government regulation that the municipalities won't do anything. That's all this is just to tell us what to do. And council, actually one firefighter from, where was he from? Ritter. He said, what's the point of having a council then? The councils get to decide.
No, because keep in mind, as of last year, anybody who's on council, anybody who's gonna be on council, you don't represent the residents, you do what the government says, or they will remove you from council. I shouldn't be saying this, because they could just arbitrarily decide the next person that Corey guy's a jerk, because he's not listening to what we say, he's not a councilor anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to do what they say, or you just don't get to be here.
Yep, what the sense of.
What are we in, like Nazi Germany?
Well,
Yes, it's insane, it's insane, like, it's straight up fascism, it's not appropriate.
You're saying this because you're not running next year.
They can remove me if they want, because I don't care, they're not running it, but it's straight up fascism. This is unacceptable.
Well, it's like AEMA when they said, well, we can mandate you to do that. And I said, well, then with emergency management, we have a binder here, it's up to date.
Well, but then, if they can just demand we do it their way or the highway, then like, who am I representing?
That's right.
I work for caucus all of a sudden, I don't work for the residents of Thorsby, I work for caucus.
And and you're right, and I did say to them in your regulation, there's no fines, there's no point to any kind of, enforcement, so tell me. Well, they didn't know what to say. I said, you're an ex-police officer, you're an AEMA person, tell me. Tell me where it gives you the right through legislation here right now, through the regulation, to shut Thorsby down or come in and take over for you.
Because under Bill 20, they remove anyone on council who doesn't approve it the way they want it.
That's right.
So they can't make you do it, but they can just make sure that the council that's there does it their way, or they replace it with someone who will.
And a lot of the participants said this, they said, so now we have to hire some more dang consultants. Like, you're costing us a fortune in fire consultants.
Not their money.
Service levels, fire after action reviews, fire wildfire after action reviews. They said, where are you gonna pay for it? And of course, these bureaucrats, and they were lovely people, but, they just kept skipping, because they have no authority to answer that question.
That's all the time we have.
2.5 hours is up.
2.5 hours is over, I'm done ranting. Anyways, that's your update, I'll let you know.
Thank you for that. Motion to accept that for information.
Motion to
Thank
shut
you. All in
the-
favor?
I don't accept any of that, but I'll vote in favor of the motion.
Motion to shut the CAO.
Didn't see a 2-minute prompt?
Yeah.
Minutes, yeah.
I did see the prompt, I ignored it. Thank you, Your Worship.
That's all we have on the agenda. The gallery back there, you guys have anything?
No, today, you can't tell.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
I
Oh, yeah.
When I moved here, exactly a year ago last Sunday, my tenant's insurance doubled because of the postal code. And I called them and I said, what's going on? He said, because of the postal code. I said, okay. The other comment I have, I don't usually talk about this in public, but, I don't know what you were talking about, but depression was one. Anyway, it's hard to get permanent help for mental health.
Correct.
I went through FCS here and it just sort of, lackadaisical. I had to go through, I think I called PCN, and they connected me with the 24/7 access line. I do have an appointment for an instructor in July, hopefully that works. Still have to wait 2 months, but I saw someone earlier in the year, but they're seeing their students, and they become someone that they can't be a student anymore because they can't do their service free. They were supposed to connect me with someone else, and I never heard that.
Yeah, there's huge gaps, like you can be referred into through FCS.
And there's another one, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think she's in this area somewhere, but it's a different FCSS. But Kim does everything online.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into that, and it's a separate time, and but it's hard to get someone to talk to, and some of us need someone.
Well, there's no question about it, and, like Leduc County has counselors on board with their FCSS, but, they're small, and so, everybody moves to online, and if you're not used to online, it can be very intimidating.
Well, I'm used to one-on-one, I don't really want a public group thing,
Right.
and that's what online is.
Well, some counselors it's you and them.
Okay, I haven't found that,
Is that?
but I do get to go to see somebody in July.
Perfect.
Hopefully that works.
Well, if that doesn't work, let Brandy and I know.
Okay, but the lady at the 24/7 did a 45-minute intake, and she's going to transfer that over to you.
Well, that's a good intake, you're lucky, it's 45 minutes.
But it's hard.
Well, it is, and some of the
There's
problems.
not enough public awareness about mental health.
No, it should be mental wellness, not mental health, it should be all
Yeah.
about mental wellness. And there's not enough nutrition guidelines, there's not enough cognitive behavioral therapy, which means changing and reorganizing your thinking,
Yeah.
so that you can
They tell you
reframe.
about that sometimes, but they don't tell tell you about the health part, and
Yeah.
it still don't work.
No.
Some people won't see you if you're not on the medicine.
Yeah, that's
I
correct.
refuse to go down that trail again, because I got worse.
Yeah, we will. It's okay, and it's okay. A lot of experience with it from my career, and I worry about the male wellness components or
I just
components
wanted
here.
you to know as a public thing that, you know, it's not good out there.
No, we know that.
For those of us that need it.
Will you keep in touch with Brandy and I?
Okay.
Let us know after
Because
July.
not everybody needs someone to talk to all the time.
No.
Like, I don't have family in Alberta.
Yep.
Mine are literally all around the world,
Mhm.
literally.
Mhm.
And it's hard.
Thank you for that, no?
Well, yeah, I appreciate you, sharing that and telling us that,
I just think it should be known that.
Do you participate in any of the community things? Like, are you a member at the senior center? Do you go to any of that kind of thing?
I went to the senior center once, last October, to the crib. And then I got my croaky voice, and I didn't go back, because I didn't know if it was.
I'll take you to play crib, how's that? We'll get you back at it.
Okay, I just didn't know if I should go when I don't have a voice. People think I'm sick. This has been since October. And I'm not sick. I feel fine. Nothing hurt. I just, it's getting a little better after almost, I don't know, 4 months on medicine that that's our specialist gave me. But some days I haven't.
Because I know, like, to be a member, it's 55 years old, and it's just a small nominal fee to $10. And they do host quite a few cool events where and it's reasonable prices as well. And like, of course, you know, there's the crib, there's the bingo, they have their lunches, they do, like, they get a bus and they do field trips.
I did their plant sale thing, and what I made.
Yeah, because, like, if you get to know the seniors, because I know they have their groups, like high school, they have their little senior groups, but I mean, they do coffee like every day and stuff like that, and they're very welcoming, I think. Like, it's good to get to know more people. That everybody,
I'm not sick, but people think, oh, you have no voice.
You just walk up to him and say, hi, my name is Wendy, and I'm not sick.
Don't have my voice.
Don't have my voice.
Shelley's always coughing.
Yeah, well,
So am I, just smoke too much.
I don't smoke, that's the problem.
My medicine makes me cough, and I never coughed before, and once in a while. Yeah, but, I don't know,
We'll get you going. I'll talk to Bobby, and, we'll get you rocking and rolling.
and
She'll take you to
good
Chris.
to her, and it's, somebody's upshot, so.
I do know what you're talking about, so we'll sneak out at midnight. We'll work it out, Wendy, don't worry. Bradley's really great at stuff.
Oh, and the other issue I had, Albert thinks my name's on the list, so I should be okay for October.
Okay. Yeah, you will be, and Jesse and I will figure it out for you.
But he's pretty sure my name's on there.
Oh.
You guys gotta be careful, it's like longest days of the year here, so at midnight it still might be light out, it's hard to sneak out.
I have a black bed sheet.
And Tuesdays and Thursdays at the FRN building, the little building to the east of the complex, there's somebody there, for 6 hours of the day that would welcome you in at any time to talk about anything.
They work for the county, they work for
FCSS.
FCSS.
Yep.
It's a resource center, so they'll talk to you, help you with anything.
I haven't just talked to Brandy or meet Brandy.
That's okay, we'll get you.
She's here Friday.
Yeah.
Tuesdays, I think, is till 8 PM, and Thursdays is till 4 PM, so it's something like 10 till 4 on Thursdays.
So Brandy's back in on Friday.
Yeah, come here Friday, and Brandy will be here. You just pop in. Anytime. Not after 4:30. Oh. Anything else? Don't apologize for that.
Anything else?
Very brave.
Oh, meeting adjourned.
Holy.
Pull the plug.
So July, the last Tuesday is our meeting.
Yes, 29.
And then August is the fourth meeting.
Yeah, I won't be here on the 29th of July.
Yeah, but the 29th is, yeah,